Hello, my name is Chris and I'm a U-Haul hitch professional. Putting a hitch on your Chevy Colorado can lead to some amazing adventures, such as biking, camping, or road trips to your favorite destination. You could even tow a U-Haul trailer just about anywhere in North America. Now, let me show you how we complete this install. You will need the following tools and supplies to complete this installation. For this installation, we are going to replace the factory step bumper with a receiver hitch. The directions call out that you can do this while the bumper is on, but we find it much easier to go ahead and remove the bumper, and you will as well. There are some electrical connectors in here we're going to go ahead and remove. Let's start there with our backup camera. It's actually right here behind the license plate. Use a flathead screwdriver and you can pop the clip out of the body, make it easier to access. Pop out the red retaining clip. Now gently depress the button and remove the connector. Our vehicle has already had its 7-way wiring installed, so we must disconnect this. For those of you who don't have this wiring connected, I will link a video on how to do this. You will also want to disconnect this electrical connector here on the driver's side. Once you remove the electrical connector, pop one retaining clip out of the step bumper hitch using a trim retainer tool. Use the vehicle's supplied jack equipment to lower your spare tire. With our spare tire removed, we can now remove 2 bolts from the support bracket using a 13mm socket. Save these bolts for reinstallation later. We're now ready to remove the factory hardware that's holding the step bumper hitch and the bumper in place. You are going to want to have a second set of hands to support that bumper when you loosen the bolts so it does not fall on anyone. Use a 21mm socket and a long ratchet or breaker bar to break loose by hand. Then you can move on to a power tool. Repeat on the passenger side. With our 4 bolts removed, we can now remove the bumper. We need to pop these 2 clips off the step bumper and save them for installation on the new hitch. You can use a flathead screwdriver to pry them out. You can now remove your remaining 21mm bolts, 2 on each side, and again with your second set of hands supporting the step bumper hitch so it does not fall on you. Repeat on the passenger side. You can now remove the factory step bumper hitch. We are now ready to raise our hitch into place. I will be using this U-Haul exclusive hitch jack. If you do not have one, you will need a second set of hands. This hitch is heavy. You can now reinstall the clips that were previously removed onto the spare tire mount. You can use a wire brush to pull any debris from out of your weld nuts before we reinstall our hardware. Repeat on the other side. Now loosely install 4 bolts upward into the frame to support the hitch while we install the bumper. Before we return the bumper, let's go ahead and return our 13mm bolts into the spare tire bracket. Use your 13mm socket to tighten them down snugly. Do not over tighten. All right guys, we're ready to now replace the bumper back to the vehicle. We do need to make sure that we line up the channel for our spare tire with the appropriate section on the bumper. We can now install our remaining 21mm bolts through the side plates. For the driver's side, you may have to move the bumper one way or the other to line them up. It may be helpful to do this bolt on the opposite side so that the bumper will move evenly with itself to come back and do these final 2 bolts. Repeat on the passenger side. You will notice the bumper has some play. We're going to want to lift up on it just a slight bit as we tighten it down to keep it nice and centered on the vehicle. So you'll want to lift up while you tighten it down so that it will stay in place for the rest of the bolts. We can now tighten and torque our hardware to manufacturer's specifications, which I will link in the description below. Repeat on the passenger side. You can now reinstall your electrical connectors. You can now return your license plate to the vehicle. You are now ready to raise your spare tire back into position. Now that our hitch is installed, we've pulled the vehicle onto level ground to show you some important measurements. This is a 2-inch hitch receiver. From the pinhole to the end of the receiver is 2 inches. From the ground to the top of the receiver is 19.5 inches. These measurements will help you determine the necessary length, rise, or drop of your hitch accessories like a ball mount, bike rack, or cargo carrier. If you have any questions about the products seen in this video, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with your local U-Haul Hitch professional, please visit us online at uhaulhitches.com.